What's good, world? Good world. What's good, world? Man, I've missed being here. I've been in these streets. Okay, I've been busy. Okay, but so happy to see everyone again. I'm here with these amazing individuals. But if this is your first time here, first off, like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. All right, you might be like, "What am I liking, sharing, and subscribing to?" But we are the Nest Network, and where we nurture, equip, stretch, teach, and transform. Again, the Nest Network, not just one S, two, where we nurture, where we equip. All right, because we're gonna nurture you, and then we're going to equip you with the tools and then stretch you, right? Because for a lot of us, it's a stretch to kind of step outside the box. It might be uncomfortable, it might be new, but it's going to help you grow as a leader, team member, in whatever capacity that you're in, even in the family structure, and then teach you and transform you, because ultimately the goal is transformation. All right. But I'm here with these wonderful individuals. All right, shout out to Derek and Keeman. And today you might be like, what's the lost tribe? What is it? Like, what does that mean, y'all? Who that is? But Derek, we have a group chat, right, where we can stay connected and support each other. But he posted or shared this awesome quote, which was, finding your people makes you realize there was nothing wrong with you. Finding your people makes you realize there was nothing wrong with you. So when we talk about the lost tribe, we've seen Indiana Jones. We've seen those movies where they're out looking for some new diamond or something. And sometimes in that, they don't just find the artifact, but they learn about these like lost tribes, these tribes that it's like, man, I never knew. Or even this morning, I was watching Viola Davis and finding her roots. And in that show, the goal is to learn more about your family. And a lot of times what's revealed in this show is a lost part of their family. They'll learn that, oh wow, you had other actors and creatives in your family, and you're like, I belong somewhere. So when we talk about a lost tribe, a lot of us out there have been through that season where it's like, is it just me in the family? Is it just me in this friend group? Is it just me that sees this purpose and calling, right? And there's no one else doing it. So I'm gonna kick it over to Derek to expound a little bit more, so we can discuss this great topic. Okay.
Yeah, we just continue this theme and discussion about finding your calling. And the thing is, um, more often than not, when you're called to do something, yes, it's your calling, but you're not called to do it alone, right? And there's different pockets of people. You may have some seasonal people who are just in there temporarily, and you may have some people that are just lifelong tribe members who are going to just roll with you. And so a big part of being able to effectively step into your calling and move in life is you got to find the right circle of people to be around, right? And man, that could be hard. You can always think back to kids, and being an educator, just looking at kids, just trying to find their way and figure out how they fit in and what outfit I'm going to wear and what jokes I'm going to laugh at and just all of this stuff. And from a little kid, you have that family you're born into, but then you have that family that you're destined to move with that may not be related to you. And how do you find those people, especially in a professional setting? And so I'm just intrigued by that thought of, the lost tribe, right? Or really more effectively, the lost tribe member. The tribe is out there. You trying to get home, right? You trying to figure out where that home is. So, what I just wonder what your guys' thoughts were, and just think about that. And what's perhaps been your own journey with finding your quote unquote people.
Let me take that on and say, well, it's like first you got to know that you're not in the tribe that you are destined to be in, I guess. And then you would ask yourself, how would you know? And I knew that I wasn't in the tribe that I was supposed to be in because I didn't I didn't like the job that I was doing. There was no fulfillment there. It was strictly just about money, right? It was about just giving me a paycheck so I can pay my bills, and that's it. I didn't truthfully care too much about the people. They were good people. It's just that there was nothing that we had to talk about or to, their goals were a lot different, or they were set in their ways more than I was. So I knew I kind of felt like a misfit. Uh, so that uh, that showed me that I didn't quite know where I was supposed to be, but I knew wasn't supposed to be here with this group full time. I mean, for a long time. You know, I had to, of course, pay bills. I had to do that. I had to stay there, but I knew that I couldn't settle. That I had to move on to the next spot. Now the question was, how do I get to that next spot? How do I even know where that tribe is? And that's when groups like this come into play. And that's, you know, we have to find those people that are doing the stuff that you see yourself doing or that you know that you should be doing, and then you need to connect with them, start getting around that circle, start investing in yourself. It could be financially, it could just be going to networking events, and things to that nature, but you have to get into that community that is doing the stuff that you are trying to do. So that's
Yes,
what I would say.
no, that's really, really good. There was a level of, being an immigrant, there was a level of like, okay, I'm just by myself. Like it was this rough journey. And it's interesting because I would hear stories from people from my country and how they went to a school with others that came from there as well. So we're trying to acclimate to American culture, but they had their tribe there to kind of help them also, navigate the world and relate in a sense of how do I navigate life being from this other country, understanding this different culture, and now coming into a space where I don't understand. So they had that support, but my journey was just myself and my brother in the school. So I didn't have other Sierra Leonean kids there that I could connect with. And that could be very lonely. And I share that story because for many of you out there, you're probably on a journey right now where you're trying to figure out, okay, where am I, right? What's going on? Or even maybe you did have a tribe that you connected with initially, but now your purpose and calling is going elsewhere and you're so comfortable with the tribe you're with now, and it's like it's time to move on. But I wanted to expand. I love definitions. It's even helped me grow, but I want to give you 3 versions of what like-mindedness looks like. So we're going to start with the regular dictionary, Merriam. Okay, Merriam. And I say Merriam like that because I'm from Maryland. That's how we say our ERs or URs. All right, so please forgive me. Merriam Webster. So from there, like-minded means having a like disposition or purpose. Please remember the or, having a like disposition or purpose of the same mind or habit of thought. Now we're going to go to the Urban Dictionary, okay? Urban. It says like-minded is an adjective and means to have the same turn of mind or to the same or to have the same opinions, goals, or disposition. And then I'm going to go to another meaning because it's Sunday. All right. And I'm a spiritual focused person. Philippians 2:2. Oh, it says, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and of mind. So we hear like-mindedness in so many different capacity. You ever heard being equally yoked, right? You've heard it in different capacity. Like, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to find a new friend group. So we've heard it from grandma, from the church, from multiple capacity. Like, if you hang out with this group, you're going to end up being just like this group, right? And it might not necessarily be it might sound like it's focused on the group you're with, but it's really to position you to get with more, well, maybe being with like-minded people may get you into some stuff. So that might be a whole nother topic, okay? Because the like-mindedness might tell you that you need to, expand your mind. But I wanted to give that perspective because, again, some of us are in seasons where we're transitioning. Some of us are in seasons where we are comfortable in the groups we are in, and it's time to transition, right? Because in you're not growing. You're not going to get to a new level of your purpose if you don't transition. And then lastly is the like-minded group that you're in. Yes, we have like minds, but is it correlated to your calling, to your purpose? Is it keeping you stagnant? So there's so many factors with that. So I want to go back to Derek. Okay. Just to think about that. And even again, my journey, it's been a total constant journeys of me constantly finding these tribes or these lost tribes that I found a lot of lost tribes. Okay. I have my gold star in it. Because again, as I grew or as I started to have that nudging to my calling, I naturally outgrew the circles I was in. So I'm grateful for the tribe I had that includes the Awesomeness Network, because it's helped in my purpose and growth.
Man, one, that was good. Two, man, you want to toss it to me with all that to unpack? Um, let me see what I can do with this. I love the fact that you went to that word like-minded, because it actually teased me up in a way that you didn't know. For me, I've actually had a kind of struggle or strained relationship with that word like-minded. And I say that because there was so much of me that has needed to change over the years. As I discovered myself, as I accepted certain elements of myself, as I've learned to be more authentically me, I actually found myself needing to seek out people who are not like-minded, because the mind I had needed to change, if that makes sense. So I believe there are people who struggle with quote unquote finding their calling because they haven't found themselves yet. You don't really know who you are. So what you're doing is you have a lot of honorary tribal memberships. You're a little part of this, you're a little part of it, in Georgia, we joke, people say, oh, she, look at her hair, she must have some Indian in her. That's that running joke that we have with people because of their hair texture. You just a little bit of whatever tribe. And because you don't authentically know where you belong, you're kind of going with whoever's mind is nearby, if that makes sense. So as I've gotten stronger, as I've gotten more focused, yes, that's led me to people like you and Keeman and the rest of the team, right? So, oh, wait a minute. There's a natural clicking that happens with us that I've not necessarily experienced with many other people. Very few other people that I click with on this level. There are other people that I click with in other pockets, but in the pocket that we connect with around this personal development space and the conversation that we have are at a level, it's like, oh, this is what this is supposed to look like. Sometimes I wonder, man, if I had discovered these folks about 30 years ago, I'd be killing the game, right? So, that's kind of the where I come at it from. Like, where do you go when you don't know where to go? You're not comfortable. Something doesn't feel right, but you can't quantify it. You can't define it like you did so well, Aisha. So how do we help that person start that journey? And I think a part of that is, Keeman, you said the magic word, networking. You just got to get around some different people, right?
Yes. Tell me this though. I mean, yes. So that's what I said or whatever. But during my journey, trying to find that network is like, okay, it's like, I mean, do we, this is my thought is like, do I go online? Do I Google it or whatever the case may be? It's like, where exactly can I go to find this?
Let's make it practical.
Like,
let's make it practical.
Please.
What was it that you didn't have that you were looking for? I'm gonna use it as an example. What were you looking for?
Come on now, we nesting now. We nesting.
Yeah. I didn't have that growth mindset around me. They were all stagnant. They were comfortable. They were good. Okay, but there was more that I. All right.
Pause. So right there, you're looking for people who had a mind towards growing and becoming a better version of themselves.
Correct.
So we can start right there. How do you find people like that? Could you Google that?
Yep, you could, because yes, and when I did, of course, we didn't use Google back then, but yet still, yes, I knew that I wanted to own my own business. So I knew that the people that I was around, the job that I was going to, they were good. They're there. They had insurance. They had nice pay. They were comfortable. They get paid every week, whatever the case may be. So I had to say, okay, there has to be more than this. So I did go to the local can't think of the name right now, but the networking events and things to that nature. To actually get around those people that were doing those kind of things, and then I have my wife, of course, that was currently doing her own thing full time. So it was like that was all there. It's like, okay, that's where I need to be at. So that's where I first took my step. And
did y'all have like a First Fridays type of event in your
yes,
area?
yeah,
something like that.
it was on yes.
Okay, so
It was like
you say
Wednesday,
network.
Yeah.
Now, of course, it's a lot easier now. People have social media and Google to go looking for things. But at the very least, you had to find somebody that was doing the thing that you could call, email, do whatever, and connect with.
Pay as well. You may have to pay these people time.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I might have to give up some paper.
Yeah, you may have to give them some paper because that's their time. I mean, not everybody just want to mentor you for free. They, it's like, no, they won't, I mean, plus to be respectful too. To me, it's like you want to, pay for the person's time.
It's funny. I'm going to have to share this with you. I actually came across a video on YouTube. It was some random video. It had nothing to do with nothing, but it was a panel discussion. So Full Sail University is an art school. And I ran across from a few years back this panel discussion. There are people in the industry. They work with big name entertainers. They've done movies, they've done music videos, they've done all this stuff. But they're all behind the scenes people. They're production people, right? They're photographers, videographers, graphic designers type people. But that panel was discussing about how do you move into these new spaces. And some of the stories they were sharing were so incredible. One guy was just like, you know what? I was outside of this guy's office and I heard him complaining about how he needed a storeroom cleaned out. And I walked in and offered to clean out the storeroom. That started a relationship. Like sometimes it doesn't have to be deep. Like the overwhelming thing that they said was when you show up with these groups, don't show up to get something, show up to give something. Show up looking to add value. Because the world is full of takers and a whole lot of people in the giving line though. So a part of that is, it may be monetary. Well, I don't have money. Can you volunteer for their event? Do they need help making a PowerPoint? Can you make? Do you know somebody who can get them a discount code to some flowers? Like what can you give? Right. So I think that's a part of it. I like that.
That's a very good example because that is something that you can do as well. I mean, it's like, what do you do well? Okay. And then you see that the person that you're trying to get into that community, that like-minded, community with or whatever, where you go to them with an offer and say, hey, let me do this for you. Not say, hey, what can I do for you? No, you tell them, let me do your marketing piece or whatever. Let me do your blog or whatever the case may be. And hey, you're coming with value. It's not trying to get them to to tell you what they need. It's like, what you can do. So give it to them for free and in exchange to be at their table, to just get the information, the crumbs per se, right?
Right. Now I'm gonna throw the ice here in a second, but I want to stop for just a point of clarity because I feel like we kind of got two tiers going here, right? Uh-huh. There's a tier of I'm trying to connect with somebody because they can stretch me because it's a possible mentor. But then there's that tier where I'm looking for peers, right? The tribe of people that I can run with. So we kind of got two paths going at the same time. And I just want to make a little bit of a distinction so we can be clear what we're talking about. What do you got, Aisha?
Yeah, I mean, it's such, well, again, you all are seeing like the nesting process in like real form, right? Because even for us, we're in that time of assessing those things about growth and development. And as you all were talking, I was thinking like, okay, for those that are out there in this process, you might want some tangible steps because again, one of the key things is we are teaching, but it's also giving you those tools, right? We're giving you the aspect of equipping you with what you need and some things to consider in this conversation is making sure you have time for introspective time. I mean, we all have, like if you work in a, typical 9 to 5, they have quarters and each quarter represents something. But are you taking time to be introspective, to think about these things? Making that something a part of your process, because yes, in this current podcast, you might be like, okay, that makes sense. I need to do it. But once, right, time has passed, you don't refer back to it and make sure, again, you like, share, subscribe. So you get this information, you have access to it. You want to make sure this is a daily habit. So how can I write in and make sure I have introspective time? But you want to ask questions like, right now, as we constantly do, okay, you might be in your calling, you're clear about what you're great at, what fulfills you, that it's not just about self, but it's also about others, because in our calling, we're supporting others. But if you're not even there, what are you great at? And what are you doing that fulfills you? Next thing is, what have you done to grow in that area? Right? You might be in the growth process. Okay. Because within that tribe, it makes sense. But what have you done for, like, right now for yourself, to think about, what have I done to grow in that area? And then the most important questions we're talking about to start this journey of finding your lost tribe is, have I outgrown this area? Have I? And that's the reality. Yes, you want to be, we all strive to be the go-to person. But I know people that are, even in the search of a therapist in a one specific area. I found this one and they have the degree and all that, but you're seeing that they're a part of faculty. They're actually, and I had this conversation with my good girlfriend, Tanya Carter. A shout out to her. But it's like the aspect of like consistently growing. Like, you don't know, because we were talking about another amazing person called Sean Hart, and how he's able to speak so thoroughly about certain things because he's in the wickets of it. We are in the wickets of what we do. We're doing it day in and day out. So we're learning as we go. We have to adjust to the differences and the changes of the world, of our clientele, and just consistently grow and develop. And again, we come together in this tribe because we are all in the process of growth and development. But have I outgrown this area? The next thing is now assess your group, right? Will they aid in this growth? Or the question you ask yourself, are they keeping me stagnant, or are they enabling my stagnation? Okay. Because enablement, sometimes we got to check ourselves. You know, this person is ready to grow, but you be a whole enabler in their stagnation. Then ask yourself,
That's a good one.
Yeah, and Keeman highlighted.
They don't want you to leave.
Yes, there's Google it, follow people who do it, because what you start seeing is that the algorithm pops up, and now you're seeing all this information about your industry. So Google it, follow people, unfollow people that kept you in stagnation or lack of growth. And then lastly, this is so important because that's what's important in this, as we're doing it with you. Share that information to those in the prior group. Because yes, you might be growing and you're the smartest person in the room, or, you know, you don't want to be stagnant anymore. You want to get to the next level. But it's nothing better than take the information you learned, or the resource, or the new program, and give it to the people in that group that you're about to leave. Because yes, you might have some people who want to leave, some people who don't know how to research it. Or you might have people who stay stagnant. That's fine. But at least you went back and shared the information, so that can support and not enable them in stagnation.
Now,
go ahead, Kim.
Go ahead. Now, that kind of led into my next point, is that you can become that person to take the lead, to be the person that you're trying to be. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's nothing stopping you there. You don't have to go to somebody else. I mean, you can do this yourself. So why not?
Create the tribe.
There you go. You can create the tribe. Thank you. Yes.
And especially in this area of social media, we have all the tools in the universe to kind of create that, to make that happen, right? Organically in some cases. But again, I think, I can't say enough about the physical meetups, especially in this post-COVID era when we can actually physically meet up with people. But the virtual conferences, how do we meet? Virtually, right? Right? Like the bulk of our relationship with each other is virtual. We're in 3 different states, but we have these deep conversations and these deep connections that we form. Why? Because the wonders of technology allow us to do so. Yes. Like, expand your horizon. Don't think you're just limited to what you can see with your eyes or what you can touch with your hands, because that's close and that's familiar. Maybe your tribe is halfway across the country. Maybe they're in another country. I mean, how much does it mean to you, and how much is it worth to you to find that peace of mind, that stability in your spirit that says, I'm home. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is the soil that's going to allow me to be just fully nurtured and allowed me to grow to my fullest potential, because the soil I was in before, I'm not even going to call it bad soil. It was just the wrong soil. It didn't contain the nutrients you needed. We said, we're going to leave them people that are stagnant. Maybe they're not stagnant. Maybe they planted exactly where they need to be, and they're growing and
Nothing's
they're
wrong.
thriving. And you can't figure out why they're so excited about this place, because they're in their calling. You're at the wrong number.
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Good. No, I mean, what you're saying is so good. I think
Very
it's
much so. Yeah.
to have those connections. It's nothing more. But again, having these discussion, even in those groups that we're in, that sparks the dialogue. It gets other people thinking, like the idea of leading it, the idea of, oh man, why are they so excited? Like asking those questions, because we can be a part of like these groups, but are we having these introspective conversations with one another? Because you can have introspective time for yourself, but what about now doing it with the group of individuals? And that's why every time before we get on this live or before we do anything, or even after, we get into some in-depth conversations because
The call after the call.
Yes, it literally, as we're talking, again, I get these downloads. Amen, Holy Spirit, right? I'm getting all these downloads and I'm like, I didn't think about that. I didn't consider that. So that's why it's important to have conversations or even revisit conversations, because you start to realize like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. Or the nudging at that time, I didn't connect with it, but now I have connected with it. And the core thing that brought us again together in an online space was the nudging to grow at the basis of it. We're like, there has to be a way. And then we've been able to have a community and people that has been their lifelong friends. They're going to be lifelong people that you're going to be around, because I believe the core of our group, we're going to be consistently in this state of growth. So ain't no leaving no tribe. I found my tribe.
All right. That's what I was
Let me
thinking the same
ask you a
thing. We're going
question.
to keep pulling and growing. We're growing this tribe.
Let me ask you a question. Now, for those of you who are watching and you did not see our premiere episode, there's actually 7 of us in the Nest Network. And a part of our formula is we can mix and match, so you get a kind of a different flavor depending on who's on the call that particular week. But in that space that we met in, were we the only 7 people in that space?
No.
Were we even the only 7 people in that space that we kind of vibe with a little bit?
No.
No. But this 7, there was something special about this 7 that lasted beyond that call.
Come on.
And it grew. Why? Because this is the 7 I was meant to roll with.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't go into the environment looking for y'all.
Come on.
Know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But because I was willing to pay some money and invest some time.
Yeah.
You
know it's gonna be free.
Because I was willing to put myself in an environment that I didn't know wasn't comfortable. I just knew this appears to be different than what I'm in. I think there may be some value here. Because I was willing to put myself in the environment, God bless me with the 6 of y'all.
And 2, not only put yourself in there, but you put in work while you were in there.
Yes.
Didn't just sit back quiet. I'm just, turn off my camera and not have my camera on. No, you actually participated. We actually participated and made it a point to ask questions, to learn, to grow,
to add value.
Get caught up. Yeah, to add value. There you go, and to add value.
And then even in the transition and the change of things, we could have been like, all right, y'all, we done, we served deuces. We even said, okay, there's more. Let's nurture this and let's start to build within it. So like within the nest, we're nesting, right? And that's the beautiful thing. I mean, this concept can be taken in any place and space that you're in. And we didn't
100% abandon the old nest.
No. Oh, look at that. We went to fly. Mama threw us out the nest.
We maintained connections. We went over there and dropped a worm off every now and then. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was but that evolution led to this evolution.
Yeah.
Because it's a journey, it's a process.
That's good. But I mean, but we could keep on giving y'all nuggets, right? Again, remember, like, share, subscribe, like it. And that's a big part. Please like it as well, because that, again, the algorithms, I guess, and even if you dislike, that helps with the algorithm. So please make sure you do that for us in support of us, because you watch and getting the information, and we might not be asking for monetary things, but doing those simple things allows, again, this message to reach and connect to other people. So as we wrap it up, Derek, where can people find more information about the Nest Network?
If you look in the show notes, you'll see our link tree where you can connect with us that way via our website and social media coming soon.
Love it. Love it. Well, oh, go ahead, Keeman. Anything?
Oh no, no, that was it. That was it. Just you know what? I would like to just leave somebody with something, and just to say, it's like that was a coach that told me, or that he just told me not long ago. It's like you got to think out the box. Think like that. Not only think like there is no box. It's like these day and ages, there's just so much that we have to use that don't cost anything. We just gotta do the work, and that's the key. You got to do the work.
Yes, always seek opportunity to growth. Growth can be so minimal, and having a conversation with some growth, it comes in so many forms. So make sure you watch this again, replay it, because again, sometimes I have to listen to sermons multiple times or read a book another time. I'll go back to it later on, because again, it might hit me in a different season. So make sure you have access to this. Put this in your favorites, put it in your playlist so you can refer back to it. But as always, thank you for joining us today, and catch us next week. A part of the Nest group, okay? The Nest Network. All right. We're more than a group, we're a network. So make sure that you connect with us again. And we are the Nest Network, where we nurture, equip, stretch, teach, and transform. We will see you next time.
All right.
See you next week.